There are a lot of popular indie games that has changed the way we look at games. From Undertale to Among Us, these games have all had their personal charms and have both become YouTube sensations. What these games have shown us is that video games doesn't need incredible realistic graphics to be successful, but it does need entertaining gameplay and uniqueness.
Good morning, and welcome to yet another day of space adventure.
It might have been because of the lack of developers that is the cause of this, because it's usually only one person to a small team of developers that makes these games. This has caused the indie market to be filled with games that has a very simple but charming graphics, like the pixelated graphics in Undertale to the cartoony style found in Among Us. All of these styles are in 2D and fit very nicely with the indie vibe we know today, but not only that, the 3D graphics has improved a lot as well over the years. From Slender with its very clunky graphics by today's standard, to Ahead in Time which has a very special and unique style of graphics that fits the indie game feel. So what about highly detailed games that runs on very powerful engines like Unreal Engine? Usually when I think about an indie game, I don't think about highly detailed graphics even if it's in 3D. That is something Spirit of the North is here to change. Spirit of the North is a very polished and absolutely gorgeous game in terms of graphics, as it is created in Unreal Engine. But as we have established, indie games are not judged by how detailed the graphics are, but how well the game plays and if it's got a uniqueness to it. So how does Spirit of the North compare in the indie game genre, and is it worth playing it? The creator of the game is Infuse Studio, a small studio that started off making 3D assets to Unreal Engine 4 and has now made their own game. The game is about a fox who travels through many landscapes, which is inspired by the scenery of Iceland. You play through the game solving puzzles to progress further. The game is not about high-paced action, but instead immersion with its awe-inspiring graphics. The graphics is the center of the game and really brings the atmosphere and immersion of the game to life. The game's graphics are very colorful and shows throughout the game different environments. From snowy mountaintops to grasslands, the game throws every possible scenery in your face, almost like it's bragging about its graphical prowess. But the graphics shouldn't be the only thing this game should be judged upon. The gameplay also needs to complement the graphics. And this game is certainly not a slacker in that department though. The core gameplay is platforming and puzzle solving. This is, however, in my opinion, only to make this game harder to progress through and make it feel like a game and not a walking simulator, which I agree is the right choice. I personally don't find a pure walking simulator fun to play, and there needs to be something that halts progression. This could have been in the form of combat or a leveling system, but those would in my opinion detract from the immersion and experience the game's graphics were creating, which is why I feel the puzzle solving aspect and the platforming is the perfect fit for this game. The game is a platformer, which means the controls needs to be judged as so. In my opinion, every game should have great controls, but in contrast to a JRPG, which has a lot of menuing and a lot of time to strategize, a platformer usually leaves minimal time to think and just needs to have tight controls. And while certainly not perfect, as it is a bit clunky, it does do the job, and with the level design being very slow and puzzle focused, it is completely playable without being frustrating. Though you can certainly feel that the game was meant for consoles, as the camera has a lot of drag and the joystick would have more control over the character you're playing as. Now moving on to the soundtrack, I am not a huge fan. I feel like the music is very monotone in the sense that there is almost no difference between the different tracks. I sometimes feel like there is only one track and it's stretched over the entire game. This is a shame since the music could have made more impact if it was used sparingly. Like for example, the music that plays while you are playing the game should be cut out, and instead the music should have been used in the cutscenes, as it would add more to those cutscenes. One of my favorite uses of music in video games is the Dark Souls series. You only get music in very important places and when you fight a boss. This gives a more immersive feeling since you don't go about your way in real life hearing background music everywhere. You don't hear music at important places in real life either, but in media I feel the music adds to heartfelt moments like in Final Fantasy VII when, spoiler alert, Aerith dies by getting stabbed by Sephiroth. The music gives the scene so much more depth to it since it matches the emotion that's being captured. It's sinister and gives Sephiroth this villainous aura to him. In Spirit of the North, I don't feel like this is done properly. There's constantly music like it's a Mario game, which isn't very immersive in my opinion. The part I liked the most in the game was the part where no music played, since it gives everything an emptiness that wasn't there before. So what makes this game so special? Well, it's not the concept of a journey which is unique. Journey, the game, has the same concept of a journey as the name implies, funnily enough. But no indie game I've seen has looked so realistic as this has, which is what makes it so special. The attention to graphical detail this game has is astonishing, and this is what makes it unique in the indie game genre. This is further supported with the absence of major bugs. There are small bugs like snow patches being created funnily, and one instance of a soft lock where I got stuck underneath water because I jumped into it before it had risen completely. It wasn't unfixable and I couldn't replicate it, so it might just have been a freak occurrence. So would I recommend this game? Absolutely. The game is very stunning and is a great experience to play. I would recommend turning off the music though, as ambient noises serves this game way better, but that is only my opinion. If I should rate it, it would get a 7 out of 10, as this game has a few flaws and it isn't 100% my type of game, but it is great nonetheless. So now that you know some more about Spirit of the North, consider subscribing to my very inactive channel. All jokes aside, I hope you enjoyed the video, and also leave your thoughts in the comment section and possible suggestion for games I should review. Have a good time, bye.